In a quiet town, there lived a man named John, a veteran who had once been full of life and adventure. He served his country bravely during a conflict overseas. The memories of those days were etched deeply in his mind. John was proud of his service, having fought alongside fellow soldiers and faced battles that tested his strength and courage. However, everything changed during one fateful mission when an explosion took away both of his legs. Now, John lived with the scars of war not only on his body but also in his heart. He used a wheelchair to get around and relied on the support of friends and family. Despite these challenges, he tried to maintain a positive outlook on life. John often spent time at a local veterans center, sharing stories with other veterans and encouraging each other through their struggles. But as days turned into years, loneliness began to creep in. Many people didn't understand what he had been through, which left him feeling isolated. Yet, deep down, John held on to hope that he could still make a difference in the world despite the limitations he faced. Little did he know that on that particular day, fate had something extraordinary in store for him, something that would bring together two very different lives in an unexpected way. One sunny afternoon, John decided to take a stroll through the park near his home. The air was warm, and children were playing nearby, their laughter echoing around him. He wheeled himself along the path, enjoying the beauty of nature and the vibrant colors of blooming flowers. It was a rare moment of peace for him, a chance to feel connected to the world outside. As he moved further into the park, John noticed a small group of people gathered around a distant area. Curious, he steered his wheelchair closer to see what was happening. Suddenly, without warning, the ground beneath him shook violently. A loud explosion echoed through the air as debris scattered in every direction. Panic erupted as bystanders fled in all directions, leaving John stranded and vulnerable. John felt a surge of fear as dust filled the air and chaos reigned around him. His heart raced, and he struggled to remain calm despite the overwhelming danger. Although he had faced combat before, this moment felt different. He was now defenseless without his legs. In that instant, surrounded by confusion and debris, John realized he couldn't move away from the scene on his own. Hope began to fade as he thought about how long it might take for someone to rescue him while fear gripped his heart. Little did he know that help would come from an unexpected source, someone who would change everything for him. In a nearby neighborhood, there lived a young boy named Miguel, an orphan who had faced more hardships than most children his age. At just 12 years old, he had learned to navigate life on the streets after losing his parents to a tragic accident. Each day was a struggle as he scavenged for food and searched for shelter, relying on the kindness of strangers when he could. Despite his tough circumstances, Miguel was resourceful and determined. He often helped other homeless children, sharing what little he had and teaching them how to find their own ways to survive. Miguel dreamed of a better life, one where he could go to school and have a family again. But for now, his days were filled with the challenges of survival. On that fateful afternoon, Miguel had wandered into the park to escape his harsh reality for a moment. He loved watching the children play and feeling the warmth of the sun on his skin. As he moved through the park, he noticed the crowd gathered around John, intrigued by what was happening. When the explosion rocked the area, Miguel's instincts kicked in. His heart raced as he sensed danger, but instead of fleeing like many others, he felt a pull towards the chaos. He knew that someone needed help. With all his courage and determination, Miguel pushed through the panic, ready to face whatever awaited him. Little did he know that this moment would change both their lives forever. As chaos enveloped the park, Miguel's heart raced with adrenaline. The air was thick with dust and panic, and the sound of loss rang in his ears. He pushed through the crowd, his eyes scanning desperately for someone in need. Then, through the haze, he spotted John, the veteran in his wheelchair, looking lost and terrified. Miguel's breath quickened as he saw John struggling to maneuver through the debris. The explosion had knocked over tables and scattered objects everywhere, making it almost impossible for him to escape. Time seemed to slow for Miguel as he fought through the wave of fear swirling inside him. He couldn't just stand by, he had to act. Without thinking twice, Miguel rushed over to John, his small frame filled with determination. "Sir, are you okay?" he shouted over the sounds of pandemonium. John looked up, his expression a mix of fear and despair as he realized he was stranded. "Miguel, please," he replied, his voice shaky. "I can't move." With his heart pounding, Miguel grasped John's wheelchair handles and began to pull it away from the wreckage. The ground was uneven and littered with sharp objects, but Miguel focused on his mission. He felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He knew that every second counted. With fierce determination and a will to help, he maneuvered John towards safety, feeling a connection forming between them amidst the chaos that surrounded them. Miguel gripped the handles of John's wheelchair tightly, his small hands shaking with effort. The ground was uneven and littered with remnants of the explosion. Broken glass, twisted metal, and bits of debris that made each movement a struggle. Miguel's heart raced, not just from physical exertion but from the weight of urgency pressing down on him. He could hear the cries of other people around them, but his focus was solely on getting John to safety. With each pull, Miguel's muscles strained, and he felt a wave of frustration wash over him. The wheelchair seemed heavier than ever as they moved through the chaos. "Hold on, I'll get you out," he shouted, trying to reassure both John and himself. John's anxious face urged him onward. Miguel could see the fear in his eyes, and it fueled his determination. As they navigated through the debris, Miguel stumbled once, nearly losing his grip. Panic surged through him for a moment, but he quickly regained his composure. "I won't let you down," he whispered, summoning every ounce of strength within him. Each pull felt like a monumental task, yet Miguel pressed on, feeling a shared bond with John that motivated him. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the edge of the park where the chaos had lessened. Miguel let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding as he found a safe spot to stop. Exhausted but proud, he looked up at John, whose expression was now one of gratitude and relief. In that moment, both knew they had faced something powerful together, a connection that transcended their struggles. As Miguel finally brought John to the edge of the park, a handful of bystanders gathered around, their eyes wide with disbelief and admiration. Some had witnessed the explosion and were initially paralyzed by fear, but they now rushed over, instinctively wanting to help. Among them was a woman who quickly knelt beside John and checked him for injuries, concern etched on her face. "You're going to be okay," she reassured him, her voice soothing amidst the chaos. Others started to clear away debris, creating a safer space around John and Miguel. A man hurriedly called 911, ensuring medical help would arrive fast. The atmosphere transformed from panic to solidarity as people began to assist in any way they could. Some offered water, while others comforted frightened children who had been separated from their parents. As Miguel caught his breath, he noticed the expressions of gratitude from those around him. They looked at him not just as a young boy but as a hero who had acted courageously in a moment of crisis. The whispers of admiration spread among the crowd, acknowledging the remarkable bravery he had shown. "Look at that kid," one man exclaimed, shaking his head in disbelief. "He saved that soldier." Miguel felt warmth spread through him at the recognition, realizing that his actions had not only helped John but also inspired others. In that chaotic moment, a sense of community blossomed, uniting strangers through shared relief and respect for the courage displayed by a young orphan and a veteran who had faced their fears together. As sirens wailed in the distance, the gathered crowd parted to make way for the emergency medical team that arrived promptly. The paramedics rushed over to John, assessing his condition with trained efficiency. "You're going to be okay," one of them assured him as they checked for injuries. While John's physical state was stable, they needed to ensure he received proper care and attention. Within moments, he was secured in a stretcher-wheeled system designed for individuals in wheelchairs, and the paramedics gently navigated him away from the chaos. Meanwhile, Miguel felt a mix of pride and exhaustion wash over him. Amidst the commotion, he momentarily became lost in his thoughts, reflecting on how his actions had saved John's life. A local reporter, who had been covering the event, approached Miguel and knelt down beside him. "You're a hero," she said softly, her camera capturing the moment. "People need to hear your story." The words lit up Miguel's face, and he suddenly felt a sense of importance that he had never felt before. News of his courage spread quickly through social media as witnesses shared their appreciation online. At the hospital, while John was being treated, he requested to speak with Miguel during recovery. A bond began to form between them through letters and phone calls as they both healed from that traumatic day. They soon found joy in supporting each other. John shared stories of his military service, while Miguel told tales of life on the streets. Their friendship blossomed into something meaningful, two souls forever connected by an extraordinary act of bravery. As John recovered in the hospital, he eagerly awaited news from Miguel. The letters began flowing back and forth, each one filled with stories that brought them closer together. John shared tales from his time in the military, recounting moments of camaraderie and the lessons he learned about courage and friendship. Miguel, in turn, opened up about his life on the streets, sharing how he had to rely on his wits to survive and how he had always dreamed of a better future. Their correspondence became a lifeline for both of them. For John, it was a reminder of the strength he still possessed and the importance of connection. For Miguel, it was a chance to learn from someone who had faced challenges far greater than his own. Each letter reinforced their bond, filled with mutual respect and understanding. When John was finally discharged from the hospital, he invited Miguel to visit him at home. The first time they met face-to-face after the explosion was emotional. Miguel walked into John's living room, where a warm smile greeted him. "You saved my life," John said, tears welling in his eyes. Miguel felt the weight of those words sink in. He had not only saved a veteran but gained a mentor and a friend. From that day forward, they spent time together regularly. John taught Miguel practical skills like how to fix things around the house and encouraged him to pursue his education. In return, Miguel brought joy and laughter into John's life, reminding him that hope could flourish even in difficult times. Their friendship blossomed into a powerful support system, helping each other navigate their unique challenges while celebrating their victories together. The remarkable journey between John and Miguel teaches us several essential life lessons that resonate deeply in today's world. First and foremost, their story highlights the importance of bravery. Miguel's courageous decision to rush into chaos and help John, despite his own fears and limitations, shows that bravery can come in all forms, even from someone so young. It reminds us that facing our fears can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Moreover, compassion shines as a central theme in their relationship. Both characters exemplify how empathy can spark meaningful connections. John, who once felt isolated due to his injuries, finds solace and friendship in Miguel, a boy who understands struggle all too well. This mutual support not only helps them heal but also teaches us that lending a helping hand can transform lives. Additionally, their experiences emphasize the significance of community and unity. In a moment of crisis, the bystanders rallied around John and Miguel, proving that when we come together to help one another, we can create a supportive environment that fosters healing. Finally, this story highlights the value of mentorship. Through John's guidance, Miguel learned skills that empower him to pursue his dreams while also instilling hope in John during difficult times. Their journey reinforces the idea that we all have something to give and receive. By sharing our strengths with others, we nurture growth for ourselves and for those around us. Ultimately, John's and Miguel's friendship embodies resilience, reminding us that acts of kindness have the power to change lives, both for the giver and the receiver. The story of John and Miguel did not just end with their friendship. It rippled throughout the community, inspiring others to act selflessly in times of crisis. Their remarkable bond became a beacon of hope, encouraging residents to come together in support of one another. The local Veterans Association honored both John and Miguel during a community event, where they shared their experiences with an audience eager to learn from their courage. As people listened to their story, many were moved to tears. Inspired by Miguel's bravery, local schools initiated programs that taught students about compassion, empathy, and the importance of helping others. Students began organizing volunteer opportunities, lending a hand to those in need and creating an environment where kindness flourished. Furthermore, John took it upon himself to mentor young veterans facing similar struggles. He started a support group at the Veterans Center, where he shared not only his military experiences but also the values he had learned from Miguel about resilience and caring for others. In this way, the incident left a lasting impact on the community, illustrating that even in moments of despair, compassion and bravery could prevail. The narrative of John and Miguel served as a reminder that anyone can be a hero, in little ways or big ways, simply by helping another person in their time of need. Through their journey, they instilled hope in countless hearts and nurtured a sense of unity among neighbors, showing that together, they could face any challenge and emerge stronger. Their story would be passed down through generations as a timeless reminder of the power of kindness.